I've had a few requests for how to do Google Classroom from the teacher side. With all of the stuff that's going on, we're having a bunch of teachers get into using Google Classroom where they haven't been necessarily with their students. So I want to do a quick tutorial on how to get you up and running with Google Classroom. And to begin with, you can see this is my Google Classroom. I've got classes already set up. There's actually two types of classes going on, classes that I'm the teacher of and classes that I have joined. But if you were coming here for the very first time, this screen would be blank down here below, and you would want to go to this plus sign up here, and it says create or join a class. I'm going to go ahead and create a test class to work with here. So I'm going to go create class, and I'm going to call this class test. And you can fill in this other stuff if you want, but it's not required, but you do have to have a name. So when I create that, it'll take a second here while it does a bunch of stuff in the background and creates a new class for me. There we go. And jumps you right into the class so you can get things set up. One of the first things you're probably going to want to do is adjust the theme that's up here. So if you click select theme over here in the right hand corner, you can choose from one of their preset themes. That's probably the easiest way to go. If you want to get fancy, you can play around with uploading your own photo. But there's some pretty decent themes there. If you go to the English and History tab, for example, there's some stuff that might be appropriate for various subjects. There's some math and science ones that might be appropriate. I'm going to go ahead and choose this one here and select class theme down in the bottom left hand corner, and you'll see that that will apply it up here. It's changing it. There we go. And so you can adjust the theme to whatever you want. To invite students, there's a class code. And so if I click on display here, that'll make it bigger. I can even make it really big, which is really helpful if we're actually in the classroom and getting students signed into this. But this is the code that you want to send to your students. They'll use this code to join your Google Classroom. So if I highlight this, I can copy and paste it. One thing to note with these Google Classroom codes, the numbers are of course numbers, but the letters are always lowercase. So there's no confusion is that a lowercase L or a capital I? It's always going to be lowercase letters. So that's what you want to copy and paste into an email to your students, or if you want to send it out through Skyward to parents and students, however you get it to them, that's the code they need. Once they've typed in the code, you'll see people on the people screen. You'll see your students start showing up here on the student screen. One word of caution, the code should be for students. If parents want to join the classroom and they try and use that code, they're going to run into a couple of problems. One is you have to have a washougalesd.org email account to join your Google Classroom. They can't do it with any other type of email. They can't do it with a personal Gmail. It has to be a WashougalSD account. Second, even if they did manage to join your classroom so that they could follow along and see what their students are doing, they would only see themselves as a student in your class. They wouldn't be able to see their own children's stuff. So that's really not the way to go, and you want to kind of mention to parents, please don't join the class. If they do happen to join the class, as the teacher, you'll be able to remove them from this screen anyway. So let me give you a quick tour. That's the setup, and that's how you can get students into your class. This front page here, they call the stream. This is where everything shows up. If you make an announcement, if you assign work, it all shows up on this screen. So let me quickly show you how to make an announcement. Right here it says share something with your class. If I click there, it gives me a box. I can type out my message. I can add things. If I click the add button down here, I can add stuff from my Google Drive. I can add a link to a website, a video, whatever. I can choose what classes this goes to. So if I have more than one class, I could choose multiple classes to post this on at the same time. I can also choose if it goes to all students or not. It is possible, and this would be a topic for another video, but it is possible to make separate groups of students in your class. So maybe you have an assignment for the whole class, but you have a modified version for some of your special ed students. You could send this message in a slightly different form to those groups, maybe different instructions or whatever. Any case, once you get all your message set up and ready to go, you can just post it, and this would post it immediately. Or if you click the little down arrow button here, you get a chance to schedule it, and you can schedule it to be posted in the future. I've used this when we're in class to schedule an announcement to show up at the beginning of each period. So my second period students don't see that announcement until the class starts. My third period students don't see it till their class starts, and so on. You may want to schedule a bunch of announcements for the week, so you have one each day that shows up each day, however you want to do it. You can also save it as a draft, and then you'll be able to come back and work on it later. For the meantime, I'm just going to cancel because I don't really have a message to send out there. The second tab up here at the top is classwork, and this is where you create assignments. So on the stream, you can put anything you want to say, right? Any messages you want to go out, anything you want to hand out, you can do it that way. In classwork is where you would put assignments. So these are things that are going to be handed out to your students, and then they're going to return something. It's either going to be an assignment that you're going to grade or assess in some way, give feedback on. It can include attachments, like if you want them to read a PDF document and then submit a reflection on that, you can include the document with the assignment. All kinds of flexibility here. So the first thing is you click Create, and you've got choices here. I'm just going to go over assignment. Again, we can do other videos on these other things here, but or you can play with them. But anyway, I'll just do assignment real quick. And it gives you this screen. Give your assignment a title. Just make something up there. Instructions. This is where you tell them, please read the attached document and write a 25-word reflection or something. Over here on the right-hand side, you can choose classes. Again, you can assign this same assignment to multiple classes. You can choose, again, groups of students. There's ways to do that. Points. At this point, we're probably looking at ungraded, but you could assign it 10 points or whatever number of points you wanted. You could assign it 4 points if you were doing some sort of a 4-point rubric that you wanted to grade to. I'm just going to go ahead and choose ungraded. You can put a due date. It's always got to be in the future. So if I chose tomorrow, for example, and then I can choose a time for tomorrow as well. I could have it due at, by 5 p.m. tomorrow. If you choose a time and a date for it to be due, students will still be able to actually click the button and turn it in after that time, but it will put a little notification next to it telling you that they submitted it late. Topics are like units. So if I create a topic, create a name there, that'll create a topic for it, and I can put other things in that same topic. So if I was doing Unit 1, for example, and there were going to be several assignments assigned to Unit 1, you give them that same topic and that'll group them together as assignments. So in any case, once you've got the title and this stuff set up over here on the right, same kind of pull down menu next to the assign button. You can either click assign and it goes out right away, or you can schedule it at some point in the future, or you can save it as a draft where you can come back and work on it later and then assign it later. Once you've done that assignment, it will show up as an assignment here. It kept mine as a draft because I didn't actually assign it, but it'll show up as an assignment here. Let me go ahead. Now that I'm thinking of it, let's just assign that. And it shows up as assignment. I don't have any students in this class, so it's assigned to 0 students. If I had 20 students, it would be assigned to 20 students. As they turn it in, this number will go up so you can see how many have turned it in. And if you click on the View Assignment button here, you'll see a list of students here, which ones have turned it in, which ones have not. You'll see their individual assignments show up over here. You can open them, give feedback, that kind of stuff. Again, there's a whole bunch more we can do with this, and maybe that's a topic for a whole nother video. But just to get started, you can assign some stuff that way. If I go back, classwork stream, you can collapse things here. If you have multiple assignments here, you can drag these into a different order. If you're like me, if things get out of order, it's probably going to bug you. It bugs me, so it's nice to be able to drag them around. The People tab shows you all the students that are in your class. Again, I don't have any students yet, but there would be a whole bunch of students listed here. You also get some options, some controls to do here. You can give the students the ability to make comments on the stream or not. You can remove students from your class if you get students into the wrong class. You can even invite students specifically with this button here. You can invite other teachers to your classroom. This might be useful if you have a special ed para that's working with you, or if you're team teaching in a class. You can add other people with these teacher abilities to the class as well. Please do not add parents as teachers. If you do that, they'll be able to see information from all the students in your class, and that would be some privacy issues. So please do not add parents to the class as teachers. The last tab here, there's a way to keep track of grades in Google Classroom. That again, that's a whole subject for a whole nother video, but as you do assignments, you'll see stuff show up here in terms of grades and points that you've assigned and whatnot, feedback you've given. Last thing I want to talk about is this menu over here on the left. This menu gives you access to all your classes. This is a good way to switch between them. You can get back to your main screen by going to the classes button here. The to-do button. This to-do section here is one of my favorite features here. If I go to do, it gives me all of the work that I have to do as a teacher. In other words, these are all the things that I have to grade. To begin with, it shows you all classes. And so you see all these assignments from all my classes, and some of them have things that are waiting to be graded, like this distance learning survey that I sent out. I could click on them and go to them and score them or give them feedback or whatever. But you can also choose this little pull down here, and this allows you to pick just one class. So that test class that I just put together, and it shows me just the assignments from that one class. And so this is a good way to go through and not have to go from one class to the next to the next. You can see all the classes together in one spot, and it's really easy to grade work from this screen, starting here in the screen. So that's one of my favorite features, and again, you find it over here in this menu button on the left-hand side. So that's going to about do it for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up down below. If you want to make sure you catch our future videos, be sure and hit the subscribe button. And then next to that is a bell icon. If you hit the bell icon, you'll get notifications every time we post up a new video. As always, if you have questions or comments, hit the comments down below. We do read those and we will get back to you. Also, feel free to shoot me an email and I can answer questions that way as well.